What is so special about these awards is that some alumni fellows I'm just getting to meet and build a relationship with, and I know we will be friends for life. That is important. That's the Penn State way. But others, I'm delighted to say, we go way, way back, which is almost a year. And that's true of the next person. And he is truly an astonishing, wonderful, caring individual. And so Ryan Newman, come on up. I felt like I was sounding too much like Price is Right. So instead of come on down, I changed it to come on up. So Ryan, it is fabulous to recognize you today. It truly is. Ryan earned his bachelor's degree in economics from the Smeal College of Business with honors from the Schreyer Honors College. And he was nominated for the Alumni Fellow by representatives from the Schreyer Honors College. He currently serves as managing director at Goldman Sachs, where he co-founded and co-leads a private wealth management team that manages in excess of $13 billion on behalf of Fortune 500 executives, Forbes 400 families, entrepreneurs, family offices and foundations, and endowments. While at Penn State, I've heard about this directly from Ryan. Ryan was awarded one of the first travel research thesis grants, and it enabled him to conduct his thesis research on fertility transition at a United Nations-sponsored Demography Institute in Cameroon. His thesis was subsequently accepted for presentation at the Population Association of America conference in Washington, D.C. So even as a student, he saw the power of acquiring knowledge and then disseminating that. Ryan also was recognized for his incredible success at Penn State by being the student marshal for economics at his graduation. This is someone who's always remained true to Penn State. He maintains strong ties through his contributions to Invent Penn State, most notably as the host of the Dare to Disrupt podcast, which I strongly recommend, which he helped to launch. This podcast highlights alumni who are innovators, entrepreneurs, leaders, and the stories behind that success. He also serves on the external advisory board of the Schreyer Honors College, the Principal Gifts Committee in Development, and he received the Alumni Achievement Award in 2011. Ryan, it's my great honor to recognize you with this award.
Thank you so much, Neely. I had the pleasure of having lunch with Neely and Venkat a little over a year ago when they first got started. And right after that lunch from the parking lot, I got on my phone and started texting another Penn Stater. And I said, with Neely, we're going to go to the stratosphere. But before I sent the text, I said, no, that's not good enough. So then I thought back to my Astro 3 class, and the astronomers in the room can correct me. And I said, with Neely, we're going to go to the mesosphere. And that was the text I sent. But as I stand here today, I believe that there is actually no layer of the atmosphere that can contain how much Penn State can soar under Neely's leadership. We are so great to have you. Thank you, Neely. Another tremendous talent at Penn State is Dr. Dean Mather. Dean Mather is the Dean of the Honors College. I want to personally thank you for nominating me for this highly prestigious award. When Dean Mather was interviewing to potentially come to the Schreyer Honors College, it was deep in the pandemic, so the interviews were conducted over Zoom. But that did not contain Dean Mather. His enthusiasm literally bounced off the screen, and that was ever the more true when we got to finally meet in person about a year later. I would also like to just acknowledge that this is a return home for Dean Mather coming back to Penn State, and we hope you stay for the rest of your career. I'd also like to acknowledge the Senior Director of Development, Sean Miller. Sean's been my wingman for the past 10 years, and he's been a tremendous supporter and is truly a friend that I cherish. And Sean Goheen, who put together a magnificent day, including a crossover podcast, which you can all check out later. I'm really blessed and honored to have my parents here with me today, Larry and Tony Newman. My mom was a public school teacher for over 30 years in Bucks County, and my dad is a volunteer fireman in addition to his day job for nearly 50 years. Now, he would want me to tell you that, but not to impress you, but to impress upon you that if anyone this evening has a medical emergency or a fire-related emergency and they need someone to step in and help, he's ready. In fact, he's kind of waiting for it to happen. But I've watched my dad do so many heroic things over the last decades, and it's just been a true honor and blessing to have you here. So Mom and Dad, thank you so much for being here. I'm also blessed to have my children here with me tonight, Bennett and Nora. And we started indoctrinating them early. So under the pantheon of superheroes in our household, it was Mickey Mouse, Batman, and the Nittany Lion. And I have great visions of my daughter Nora wearing a Penn State cheerleading costume and having the real cheerleaders shake their pom-poms by her side. Or the first time we put Bennett onto the Nittany Lion statue. And we took his photo as a toddler, and then after the photo was done, we went to take him off, and we reached in, and he started to cry. I said, Bennett, what's wrong? And he said, I'm waiting. And I said, what are you waiting for? And he said, turn it on now. He literally thought the Nittany Lion Shrine was a mechanical ride. And who can fault him? Because we had built up Penn State to be such an extraordinary thing, and my nephew Alex is here with us today, and he attended. But I obviously would not have my beautiful, amazing children without my wife, Meredith. You're all actually participating in another ceremony tonight, which is the eve of the 27th year first date anniversary of Meredith and I. So we've been married for 20 years, but I'll tell you why I count the first date anniversary. You see, I laid eyes on Meredith at the age of 11. I decided I was going to marry her at the age of 15. And at the age of 18, a mere 3 years later, she acknowledged my existence on this planet for the very first time. True story. You can find out at the cocktail hour all about it. So Meredith, thank you so much for saying yes then and every day since then. You were my biggest fan, my greatest supporter, and truly my life love. I'm also blessed and honored to have two additional guests here tonight that are tremendous assets to the Penn State community, Professor Greg Pierce and Director Robin Stevens. And both these individuals are extraordinary in their own right. Robin is the Director of Wall Street Initiatives for the Smeal College of Business, and Greg is a professor in the Smeal College teaching finance and honor students. And these two individuals who were here when I was a student 20 years ago and are still here today, they're ageless, they both exemplify a concept I'd like to share with you today that I refer to as radical generosity. We all endeavor to be generous in our lives, but there comes a point where the generosity extends beyond pragmatism. And we've heard some of those great examples of that tonight, where it's truly radical generosity. I was blessed to receive countless doses of radical generosity from Robin and Greg, and I want to just share one quick anecdote for each. For Robin, she was the first Penn State professional I ever met as I stepped foot on this campus as a freshman. I was sitting in Schwab Auditorium at the Smeal orientation with 800 other freshmen, and she talked about what it takes to get involved. And at the end, I was so excited, my wife was sitting next to me at the time, that I ran onto the stage to introduce myself. And I said something crazy, like I want to be president of Penn State one day. And she looked at me in all my craziness, and she embraced me for the next 4 years of my college experience. And there's arguably no one who's done more to place more students on Wall Street than Robin Stevens over the last 20 years. Greg Pierce was our honors core advisor. He taught us all of our honors principal courses in the Smeal College of Business. We literally had the same professor for 16 credits in our junior year. Our classes were 4 hours long, and he did the most extraordinary thing. Our first assignment was a goal-setting exercise. He had us type up our goals and submit it. But then he created a mutiny in the honors class because he gave us all B's and C's. He told us our goals weren't specific enough. You said you want to get married? What year? You say you want to go to law school? How much is it going to cost? Brilliant, radical. And years later, when I would email him about these goal-setting exercises, within minutes, he would respond with the actual exercise that I had submitted right back to me. And so as a sign of my just pure gratitude for the radical generosity that Robin and Greg possess, I'm announcing today the two major gifts. The first is the Robin L. Stevens Wall Street Boot Camp Honors Scholarship in the Smeal College of Business. And the second is the Associate Teaching Professor for Gregory R. Peters Scholarship in the Smeal College as well. Both of these scholarships will be fully funded by my family, but we will invite the broader Penn State community, the countless students that have been truly touched by both Greg and Robin, to also contribute. I'm grateful for you all, and I love Penn State. Thank you very much.